So, I watched a movie last night. This is a movie that I've really been looking forward to watching, and like I mentioned, I watched it last night, which was really cool, and this film is called Reality. And this film is actually directed by, I really don't know how to pronounce his name. It's kind of hard, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. Quentin Dupieux, I believe is how you pronounce it. Quentin Dupieux, that's what I'm gonna call him. But yeah, he's the guy. I don't know if you probably don't know his name, but you've probably seen his movies. He did Rubber, the movie about the killer tire. He did a movie called Wrong. He did a movie called Wrong Cops, which is personally like one of the most absurd, ridiculously funny movies I've ever seen. The guy's known for making some really weird freaking movies, and I love him for that. And Reality is his newest film, and yeah, this one is kind of just I really don't know how to start off this review. I'm having a hard time here, but let's see. I mentioned the director, Quentin Dupieux. I mentioned the movies he's made, so you may be familiar with them. He's a guy who makes strange movies, and this is his latest movie. Okay, so, Reality. This movie is fucking weird. Definitely one of the weirdest movies I've seen in a while. In a very long while, and that being said, I really liked it. Describing this movie to you is kind of difficult, so what I'm going to do is just read you the quick little synopsis on IMDb here, but basically it's about a wannabe director who is given 48 hours by a producer to find the best groan of pain worthy of an Oscar as the only condition to back his newest film. So, yeah, basically you have this director, and basically his main goal is to make like the worst horror movie ever, so that's what he tries to do. But in order to make that film, the producer who agrees to do the movie says that he has to groan, and this groan has to be the most gut-wrenching, groaniest groan he's ever heard, and that the groan, he basically says the groan has to win him an Oscar in order for him to make the movie. So you're probably so confused right now. The film actually also stars Jon Heder, who is Napoleon Dynamite. I mean, everyone knows Jon Heder. The movie also stars Eric Wareheim, and he was actually in his previous film, Wrong Cops, and he was very funny in that, but yeah, he's in this movie too, and he's pretty freaking funny in this movie too. Now, like I said, Reality is definitely one of the strangest movies I've seen in a while. I might as well go and say it's probably one of the strangest movies I've ever seen. But, that's not really, you know, that's not a bad thing. That's definitely a very good thing, for me at least, because I really like weird and absurd, strange movies. A movie that compares with this one, all I can think about right now is Holy Motors. I reviewed that one a while back, but, this movie is just that kind of amount of weird, where it's just weird. This film is extremely absurd, and it just features a lot of very surreal imagery, and overall, it's pretty freaking hilarious, I'm not gonna lie. I had a very good time watching this movie. I laughed out loud quite a lot, and I might even go ahead and say that this is probably one of the funniest movies I've seen this year. This is like, hell, this is funnier than most, you know, American comedies that come out today. This film was hilarious, but you know, that's the thing. This movie is definitely not for everyone, and I don't think a lot of people will really understand the quirkiness of the film, or how just downright absurd and strange and hilarious it is. So I'm not really recommending this movie to you unless you really like this kind of stuff, but yeah, I think this movie just kind of throws a lot of people off. This movie had a 1 star on Netflix, so not a lot of people like this movie, obviously, but again, this is a movie that is not for everyone. This is definitely only for those of you who really love, you know, absurd art house, surrealism. It's very strange. Like, I wasn't really gonna give away any scenes in this movie, but I'm gonna give away a little bit because I feel like I need to talk to this about somebody before I go see, like, a therapist or something. But there is, like, a scene in this movie where, well, let's see, there's, like, very different, you know, what am I saying? There's a lot of different characters that the movie follows. One of them is this little girl. Her name is Reality, and in the movie, and her dad goes out and randomly shoots a hog in the woods, and he takes the hog back home, and he just kind of, you know, guts the hog and takes out its insides, and Reality, the little girl, spots a blue VHS tape, says nothing on it, it's blank, and she spots it, and basically the entire film is she's trying to get that VHS tape to see what's on the movie. And there's another scene in this film where John Heater's character is like itching the entire movie, and he says he like has all these lumps all over his body, and he like has a lot of eczema and stuff, but you know, there's nothing there, like you see nothing, and it's just... But although he claims that he's itching and that, you know, there's lumps all over his body, and he looks gross, and, you know, he even goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, dude, there's nothing wrong with you, there's no lumps or anything, I don't know what you're talking about. And there's also a scene where Eric Wareheim's character, he likes to dress as a woman, and he likes to go around, you know, dressed as a woman, like driving this military vehicle, I don't know, and... it's just very weird, absurd stuff, and, you know, I personally, like I said, I loved it. There was so many parts in this film that just didn't make any sense, and I just laughed out loud because of that fact. But that's the thing, this is another thing why I think not a lot of people will like this film, is because this movie is, just weird for the sake of being weird. Like, there really is no straightforward meaning to this movie, I don't think. If there is any meaning or sense of sanity in this movie, of course, only the director knows, you know, it has to be something personal to him, you know, just probably something that only he gets or he understands, and, yeah, it's just, personally, to me, I don't think there's any meaning. I think it's a movie, being weird for the sake of being weird. It's just there to be, you know, entertaining as hell and to be absurd. And I think Quentin Dupieux's main focus for this movie was for just, by the end of the movie, is just to make the viewer just question their sanity and just, you know, like testing their sanity pretty much. And it's just, it just kind of makes you lose your mind by the end of this movie, because there's just so much stuff that just kind of doesn't make sense, and he just kind of throws it at you, and you're just kind of like... It's definitely a lot more that I think the average viewer can handle, which is why I don't think a lot of people like this movie, and like I said, which is why I don't think a lot of people will like this movie who are normally, you know, used to the standard type of cinema, and yeah, it's just not for everyone. That being said, personally, as for me, I love this movie. I loved the hell out of this movie. This is my type of movie right here. I love very absurd, surreal type films. This is probably one of the funniest movies I've seen in a while. I don't know if it was intentionally funny or unintentionally funny. All I knew was that I had a really good time watching this. This is definitely Quentin Dupieux's best work, in my opinion. And I really liked Rubber, and I really liked Wrong Cops and Wrong. I think all of his movies are fantastic, but honestly, I think this is his best movie. And personally... Honestly, I thought about it, and I think this is probably one of the best movies I've seen this year. And, but again, this is just me, this is just my personal opinion. Again, I'm not recommending you guys to see this movie, especially if, you know, you don't think you're into this kind of stuff. But I really, really liked it. I thought it was hilarious, and, like I said, it's his best work to date, and, yeah, I really liked it, and overall, I'm gonna give this film a 4.5 out of 5. I did not expect myself to give it that high of a rating. I did not think I would like it that much. This movie just really, really surprised me. Like, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. I am at loss of words right now. Do you see what you do, Quentin Dupieux? You just make me lose my sanity, and you make me stutter my reviews. You see what you do, you frickin' asshole? But yeah, I don't know why I even bother going into a Quentin Dupieux movie, like, expecting any of it to make sense. Like, I was, like, preparing myself to watching this movie. I was like, alright, this is obviously gonna be very strange, like all of his other movies, probably not gonna make any sense, but I'm gonna pay very close attention to each scene to try to make out what this movie is, and what, you know, what it's trying to tell us, or what the meaning is, and I couldn't do it. Like, the movie, it beat me. I don't know what the meaning is. Like I said, I don't really think there is a meaning. It's just weird for the sake of being weird. It's fun. It's entertaining. That's all I could say. But yeah, I really, really love this film personally. It's one of my favorite movies that came out this year, and I absolutely loved it. And yeah, that's about all I have to say for this movie. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Jacob Palacio, and I will see you guys later.